Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thanks for joining me. Today I get to share a project with you for Spellbinders, and we're using a brand new collection, or one of the items in the brand new collection over at the shop. The collection's called Buzzworthy, and I'll leave all of the collection down below if you guys want to check it out. It's super fun. Today's project we're going to feature the Sweet as Honey stamp set. I love the floral in here. There's fun sentiments that say be happy, sweet friend, you're a keeper, and then my favorite is hey honey. I just think it's playful. There's 3 bumblebees in here. We're going to stamp all of those today along with this honeycomb piece. The honeycomb is solid, so if you want to use your yellow inks you could stamp that, but then there's also one single honeycomb. If you want to add a little bit of color difference with that, you can stamp the single one on the inside of the solid honeycomb piece. We're taking, oh, there's also a leaf too that will go with your floral, and I'm going to stamp that as well. Now I'm going to be using some alcohol marker friendly cardstock and my Memento ink to ink up my images, and then I'm going to color them in. I actually colored them in off camera today, guys, to save a little bit of time. I wanted the large floral, I wanted to take my time with it, and I wasn't really sure what colors to use. So I did it off camera, and I ended up doing a blue-green flower, okay, and then I'm going to do a yellow center with it, and I just love the way it turned out. If you want to know the colors that I used, I listed them over here on the left are the flower, and then the right is the flower, the left is my bumblebees, just in case you want to jot those colors down. After I fussy cut each one of my elements out, I just used my scissors, fussy cutted them. We're going to create a frame. We're going to use the Spellbinders Essential Squares frame set. I'm taking the largest 3, and we're going to create a frame with white cardstock with the dotted detail piece, and then we're going to take we're going to remove the detail piece and then die cut out a frame with the black cardstock. I'm using whipped cream and black licorice cardstock for my frame, both my frames. Since there's dotted detail on my white frame, I wanted black to show behind it. There's just something about bumblebees with polka dots that I love, and I thought this would go perfect with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere my black frame to my white frame. I'm just going to use my glue. Since the dotted detail is in the middle, I can go along the edge and it doesn't show through those dots. Okay, once this is secure, I did keep the inside piece of my white panel. We're going to use that to do our stamping on. I find this easier because if I make a mistake, I can just redo that square versus stamping on my card base when I create my frame. Okay, I have a piece of whipped cream cardstock that I trimmed down to 4 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. I thought we'd create a square card today. So after we have that, we're going to mat our frame on that back panel. Next, we're going to stamp our honeycomb, and I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Fossilized Amber. I'll just ink up the honeycomb piece here, and we're going to stamp it in the top right corner. And then I'll take that same honeycomb piece, ink it up, and then we're going to flip the entire block around and stamp it in the bottom left corner here. Lovely. Now we're going to take that individual honeycomb piece, and I'm going to position it on my block to where it's positioned as the honeycomb is that we just stamped. And then I'm going to use brushed corduroy to add a little bit of variance in color on my honeycomb. And I love these 2 colors together. I think it's fabulous. And I love that they included a single one so you can create different colors with that. Okay, after I stamped my little individual ones, we're going to stamp the sentiment that says hey honey. I'm using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I did get my sentiment crooked, which I often do. Now I was contemplating in restamping my honeycomb on another piece, but sometimes it's just as simple to just flip over your panel and stamp it again. That's the best thing about stamping at a diagonal. I stamped better this time. Now the one that we stamped on the bottom that was crooked, we're going to cover with that large flower. So that was a super easy fix. It doesn't happen very often, but that was a super easy fix. Okay, we're going to flip over our honeycomb panel, and using our frame as a guide, we're going to center it on our 4 3/4 inch panel here, and then we're going to insert our background piece, again using our frame as a guide, and then we can just pick up our background piece and then flip that over and add foam adhesive behind our frame. This is going to give our card a little bit of dimension, which you all know that I like. Okay, we're going to remove the release paper off of our frame and add that to our panel. Lovely. Next we're going to take our flower, and our flower is going to go over that crooked sentiment in the bottom right. We're just going to add adhesive to the leaf and the area that's on the inside of the frame, and then we'll use a tape runner on the other edge of the flower. We'll just remove, this way our frame and our floral is the same height. We're going to kind of place our flower a little bit off, and I am placing it to where the right side is overhanging a little bit. We're going to add foam adhesive behind our leaf here and add that, kind of bridging, putting it right in the center of our honeycomb, kind of covering it so it looks like our honeycomb's kind of continuous. If you want to use that single piece and add a couple more stamps to make your honeycomb continuous, you could do that. That's the versatility of this. Next we're going to add foam adhesive behind our little bumblebees. We're going to add all 3 to our image. And then this one's going to go on our flower, creating one more layer. The bumblebee on this top right corner, we're going to move over a little bit, and I'm loving this. I'm going to use my scissors and trim off the excess that's overhanging of the flower. And I'm happy with the way this looks. I think it looks so pretty. Now I'm going to be using some card bases from Spellbinders. These are actually square card bases that are 5 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. They're made with Nina cardstock. I think they're 80-pound weight, so they're a little bit lighter weight than my normal cardstock base, but 80-pound works great for card bases. The nice thing about these pre-scored and folded card bases is there's coordinating envelopes. So I don't have to search online for an envelope that matches my square card bases, which is really nice. I'll list them down below if you guys want to check that out. But I went ahead and adhered my panel, and then now I'm taking that piece that we cut off and I'm actually adding it to the side of my flower here. So it's one level lower than my flower. I kind of like the way this looked, but I thought it was missing something when I chopped it off. So I'm just going to replace it. Just trim off now the leftover that's overhanging. And I was happy with the way this turned out. But for bells and whistles, I kind of skipped this part. My camera was going, it was getting dark out actually, but I added some sequins and a little bit of glitter to the wings of my bumblebee. But that finishes my card today, guys. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.